Welcome to the Mystic Media channel. I am your host, Ravina Rastavan, and tonight I am going to get into the dark-sided Libra female. I know it's been long anticipated for some of you guys, so I'm sorry for the delay. So let's get right into it. While I'm discussing Libra, I'm going to post a disclaimer, and that disclaimer basically is about I'm discussing the dark-sided Libra female. However, on some of your worst days, even those of the light may display some of these dark-sided traits. So let's begin. So I have to admit that I did struggle a bit with both the male and female Libra videos, and that's because Libra tends to be so goody-goody, so nice, so agreeable, so harmonious, that it's often hard to detect their dark-sidedness on the surface. So and also, you can blame that on my Venus and Libra. So maybe I'm a bit partial to Libra. I do tend to have a lot of Libra friends, and I connect with them really easily. I'm a Sagittarius, and Libra and Sagittarius are very compatible. Now, Libra females are often so damn nice and agreeable that it can be hard to detect their dark sidedness. Oh, but believe me, it's there, and it's pitch black. Maybe not exactly pitch black, more like doo-doo brown. But anyway, yeah. So yes, Libras do have a dark side. So the main dark-sided trait with Libra is that she's indecisive. She can't make up her mind, and she will often start things like start projects, start endeavors, but she won't finish them because she's indecisive while she's starting it. So she's not even sure when she starts these projects if that's really what she wants to do. So indecisive. Also, she won't take sides because she always likes to be straight down in the middle. She likes to be the mediator. She likes to be diplomatic. That's one of the main traits of Libra. So they can be that way to a fault. So don't bother venting to them about others because they will rush to their defense and they will not take your side. It don't matter who you are, what type of relationship you have to them. They could be your mother, your father, your sibling, your spouse, their spouse. They're not going to take your side for no reason. And that's because they tend to be very diplomatic and they always want to see both sides of the coin. Another dark-sided trait is that relationship and marriage is everything for the dark-sided Libra female. So that's her whole reason for being. Basically, she'll crowd your Facebook newsfeed with pics of her boo or her man or her hubby or her DH, whatever she refers to him as. So, that really gets tiring after a while seeing all their sappy BS on their timeline. Also, she's so relationship oriented. When she's in a relationship, she doesn't see herself as an individual. So she tends to drag her man along with her everywhere. So she'll bring her man to a girls' night out event and wonder why everyone has an attitude about it. She'll bring her man to a baby shower, her gynecological appointments. She'll bring him to a hair salon and have him just sitting there waiting for her. So wherever women tend to congregate by themselves, she tends to bring her man. So she'll even bring him in a women's locker room at the gym if she could get away with it. But maybe that time is coming soon with all the political stuff that's going on, considering concerning gender and whatnot. Now, if they are not in a relationship, the dark side of Libra female tends to be miserable, even if it doesn't show on the surface. Because, like I said, they are a relationship oriented sign. They are the signs of relationship, including marriage. So, relationship is everything to them. The dark sided ones, that is. But even the ones on the light, relationship tends to be the end all be all, or it tends to be their highest ambition to get married or to be in that long term fulfilling relationship. So, basically, if they're not in a relationship, these dark-sided Libra females are a hot mess. They'll be interfering in the lives of others, and they'll be laying their problems on you because they can't lay it down on a man. They will bore you with stories about their exes. They are constantly online looking for mates, so they're always joining the dating sites like Match.com, eHarmony. They're always taking these relationship surveys like, is he the one? Or, what's your strongest relationship trait? Or how do you rate on the scale of attractiveness? Libras love to take surveys and questionnaires and whatnot. So the dark side of Libra takes it to the extreme. So she's always trying to, figure out what makes her tick because she really doesn't know who she really is because she bases that off of other people. I'll get more on that in a minute. So she's constantly looking for the one, constantly looking for her soulmate. And then when she does have a man, she fawns all over him, no matter how big of a scrub he may be. And she can attract some real nasty ones at that. So she's so indecisive that she's apt to get with a real scumbag and try to make it work just so that she could say she's in a relationship. So like I said, a relationship is everything to her. So she's liable to throw out her judgment just for the sake of being in a relationship with that guy. So she can be a serial dater as a result or have multiple marriages. She can become a hoe in that light, but then she justifies it by saying it was a relationship or a marriage. So, perfect example, just think about Claudine, the main character, the title character of the movie Claudine, played by Diane Carroll. If you haven't seen that movie, it was put out in the 70s. It's a really good movie. It's a black movie. But basically, Claudine had all these kids. I think she had maybe 6 or 7 kids. And she was all pretty and prim and proper and prissy. She was basically a sophisticated hood chick. But she was also a low key hoe, but she tried to disguise it through her marriages. So in the movie, she says something like, I had 2 marriages and 2 almost marriages. That's what she told the dude she was dating at the time. So that's some classic Libra shit. Like, you're sleeping around, but you consider each guy that you're sleeping with to be in an actual relationship. So that's how you could justify your whoredom. So yeah, they can be low key hoes, and it's because they're constantly searching for the one. They're constantly searching for that relationship. So she also, along the same vein, I'm gonna talk about more of this too. Libra is the sign of feminism. Some people might want to argue and say that's Aquarius, but Libra is definitely the sign of feminism because it's about esteeming the woman, and it's about the opposite sex and equality and all of that stuff, which Libra is. So in the Claudine movie, when she's mad at him, she tells him, I have bigger balls than you do. So that's some classic dark-sided Libra shit, feeling like she could do anything that a man can. And also, she berated him for having these children that he couldn't support, but she couldn't really support her own children either. She was on welfare. So, yeah, so she was kind of a hypocrite in that light. Now, when cheating, you best to believe it's a full-fledged relationship, or at least she thinks it is. So, if she has a man and she's cheating on him with another man, well, she's going to be in a full-fledged relationship with that other man because that's her whole, aim, to be in a relationship. She's really not the one night stand type of chick like the Aries female, and they're opposing signs. So Aries is the opposite sign of Libra. So even if it's a one night stand, she'll try to turn it into a relationship somehow, some way. So for all of you men who are just about to hit it and quit it, you really want to think twice before you have that one night stand with a Libra. Also, she'll be a doormat. She's a people pleaser. She could be a pushover. But the dark sided ones, they have ulterior motives when they do that. Basically, she's trying to find your weak spot. So they're trying to make you totally dependent upon their existence without the emotional bonding that takes place with Scorpio. So both of these signs, Libra and Scorpio, are prone to codependent relationships, but with Libra, it's going to be there's not going to be that emotional attachment or that emotional intensity that occurs with Scorpio, because Libra is an intellectual sign, it's an air sign. So they can be emotionally detached, but still be in a codependent relationship, or they want their partner to become codependent upon them. So she could be a peacemaker to a fault, a natural pacifist, but in the process of trying to keep the peace, she's creating enemies all around her because, like I said, she's not going to take sides. And Libra actually is the sign of the open enemy or open opponent. Don't ever forget that, no matter how nice they may seem. So basically, she'll have 2 friends that can't stand each other, but she's constantly bringing the 2 of them together to make peace or to try to get them to make amends, but she's secretly hoping to see a real live housewife cat fight. So in the whole process of bringing these friends together, there's often drama that's created, and she kind of feeds off of that. She kind of like gets a kick out of it because it reminds her of courtroom drama, and she is fond of courtroom drama because Libra is the sign of legality or the legal system. Sagittarius is too. Libra is more about the lower court system. But she does like courtroom drama, so that's one of the reasons why she will bring together 2 mutual friends that are enemies with each other, and she's trying to act like she's keeping a peace or she's trying to create harmony, but at the same time she's just augmenting the disharmony that already exists between them. So speaking of courtroom drama, she is sue happy, just like the dark-sided Libra man, and most likely she has a few frivolous lawsuit ideas in her back pocket. Again, I'm talking about the dark-sided Libra female. A lot of times it's settlements. Legal settlements are a means of how she gets lump sums of money. So don't be surprised if you have, a dark side Libra friend and she has a few lawsuits in her past where she's come up pretty nicely as a result. Now, the real dark sided ones are the ones who will spill shit on the floor and slip and then sue in a store. Or they'll put hairs or cockroaches or what have you in food so that they can sue the establishment. So those people that be putting like roaches, or they'll put like a dead mouse in their cheeseburger or something like that. A lot of times they're dark-sided Libras because they're too happy and they realize that they could come out of it with a pretty nice settlement. Another dark-sided trait is she tends to be too liberal, and that deals with, again, being too diplomatic, too politically correct, and again, that deals with a need to keep up appearances and just make it seem like she's just agreeable all around. So you can't really trust what she says about certain concepts, belief, or people because she could be lying and covering up how she really feels. So the dark-sided Libra female, she might be a hardcore racist deep down inside, yet you would never know it because she tends to be very diplomatic. The dark-sided Libra female never puts all her cards on the table. Now, she is the quintessential feminist. So like I said before, Libra is the sign of a feminist, and because Libra deals with the opposite sex and it also deals with equality. Now, the crazy thing about Libra is it's ruled by Venus, but it's a masculine sign. It's also a cardinal sign. So there's a lot of masculine energy tied up into it, which also lends to the whole idea about Libra being a feminist sign, because feminists believe that they should be on equal level with men and that they could do whatever a man can do. Now, I do believe that men and women should be treated equally, but we're definitely not the same. There's definitely key differences between the two of us, but between the two sexes. But the feminist wants to make it seem like we're totally equal, that our roles are interchangeable, and that basically a woman should be able to do whatever a man can do and vice versa. So there's nothing wrong with feminism. I'm sure some of my viewers are feminists. If you are, more power to you. However, feminists sometimes have a tendency to take things to the extreme and they become man haters. So the dark-sided Libra female can be the epitome of the male hating feminist. So astrologically speaking, technically speaking, when the sun is in Libra, it's fall season. And we consider, as astrologers, we consider that the sun is in the fall, which is not a good place for the sun to be. The sun is actually at a low point. So, and that deals with not being able to get as many days of sunlight as you do in the spring and summer months. So when fall hits, that's when the sun is really like getting to its low point. So again, that deals with the energy that Libra females are dealing with. And basically, they're kind of in that whole conflict, internal conflict thing where they're a masculine sign, but they try to come across as very agreeable, very feminine, very prissy and whatnot. But at the same time, they're trying to take the lead. So make no mistake, the dark-sided Libra female may come across as passive, but she's really not passive. A lot of her actions are passive aggressive, and that's because she's being strategic in her approach. More on that about them being strategic in a minute. So another dark-sided trait is she cares too much about what others think. She also tends to lack individuality because Libra is a sign of relationships, so they tend to be followers. She tends to not be able to think for herself or make decisions by herself, deals with that indecisive nature. Also, she tends to follow popular opinion too much, or what's in the media. She tends to follow that. She never wants to seem like she's unpopular or that she's going against the grain. Kind of like the dark-sided Taurus female. Both signs are ruled by Venus. Venus is a social planet. Also, along with the being sociable, she always has to be out and about and mixing it up with others, especially when she's single. When she's young, she'll be a big time clubber, or she may be the type that gets married at a young age and then inserts herself into every single affair of her husband's family. So in that vein, she could be a busybody, just like the dark-sided Gemini female, but Gemini knows how to stick and move. Libra will linger and they'll get on everyone's nerves with their managerial style. So along the lines of the managerial style, the dark-sided Libra female tends to be a people manager. She will manage people, her friends, her family, her mate. She always feels like she knows what's best, and she does have a tendency to be an idealist. And that's mainly in the area of her relationships and connections with others. And again, this is because Libra is a cardinal, masculine, and extremely social sign. So she wants to be in social situations, but she wants to be managing it, or she wants to be the mediator or the moderator. And they can be nosy as hell. Again, that deals with that busybody nature. Another dark-sided trait is they tend to be petty, just like the dark-sided Libra males. They have this tit for tat about them, and they're constantly keeping score, especially in a relationship or a marriage. Basically, they expect equal reciprocation. Sorry. um but the same goes for friendships as well. So they will bend over backward for you, but she expects you to be willing to give her your right kidney in return if she should need it one day. She could be a high maintenance friend who will call you at 3 a.m. crying because her man didn't come home yet. So along with that warm and kind and helpful nature that Libra has when it comes to being a friend, she demands a lot in return, just like the Taurus female. Um, like I said before, she needs constant reciprocation or face her nasty attitude. That's especially in marriage or relationships. And she wants to know every last detail, every last move, because basically she is a prosecutor. But when she's on the hot seat, she becomes an excellent defense attorney. So she does that whole cross examination thing. And again, it deals with that whole courtroom drama. She feels like she's a natural attorney. She wants to know all the details. She basically wants to create a whole dossier upon people. um, she could be petty, testy, picky, uptight, prissy, can't deal with anything unpleasant, doesn't like to get her hands dirty, but will direct others to do so. So again, like I mentioned, she could be the do-gooder, goody two-shoes. Basically, she's the child that in school that reminds the teacher that she forgot to give out homework. Yeah. She toes the line too much, especially at work, even if her superiors are in the wrong. So don't badmouth the boss around her because she will find a way to defend the boss's actions. She'll find a way to defend a serial killer's actions if she feels like she'll come out of it looking good, fair, and balanced. Basically, as a coworker, she knows all the policies at work because she actually took the time to read the handbook from front to back. This is so she could take mental notes on who's breaking the rules. She's building a case against you just in case she might need it in the future. Also, she gets easily butthurt when shit is out of balance because Libra is the sign of balance, so everything always has to be on even kill, and they have a very sensitive equilibrium. So when things are just out of place or out of balance, they really get butthurt. They get so, bent out of shape. Also, back to the whole strategic thing, she could be too strategic as a result of needing to maintain balance. So for the dark-sided Libra female, love and marriage is like a game of chess. Secretly, her spouse is her opponent and she's always ready to check him. Now, she could be very superficial, just like the Taurus female. And again, both signs are ruled by Venus. So she can be obsessed with her look and her appearance, especially her eyebrows. She tends to be very concerned about her eyebrows look and how symmetrical they are. And that, again, deals with that need for symmetry and balance in their life. So just watch some of the Libras that you know. Their eyebrows are always on fleek, always on fleek. I even knew a one Libra female that got tattooed eyebrows so that they would always be perfect. Now, sexually, she could be repressed, but she may love erotic novels and maybe even porn, and she loves male strippers. Now, while having sex with her man, she might be fantasizing about Magnum, that oily male exotic dancer she was backing it up on the other night. So you got to watch her with that. Again, it deals with that idealistic nature. So she feels like her partner's not perfect and she knows he won't be. That she has this ideal husband or partner in her mind and she might pull it out when she's having sex with you just so she could be in the mood. Now, she could get lazy in bed and emotionally detached, especially after marriage, because once she feels like she has you, there's no need to work to keep you. She's the classic, I'm too pretty to get sweaty chick. Don't mess up my hair chick. I don't like doggy style chick. Missionary position was basically made for her. And this is the reason why she tends to get cheated on a lot because she tends to lack passion and spontaneity when it comes to sex. Now, she will use sex as a weapon or as punishment, just like the dark-sided Capricorn male. She will withhold sex, or she will use it as bait, with the end goal being marriage or a long-term commitment. So she may string a man along for months and she may not give him any sex, but she may be fucking her ex at the same time. Because to her, again, she has a need to be in a relationship. So she'll often hold on to a unhealthy, horrible relationship just to feel that security of being in a relationship. And then she might be dating this new guy over here, stringing him along, not giving him any ass because she's giving her ex ass. Now, if she's still in touch with her ex, most likely her ex is still hitting it and the relationship is still alive, unless she has to be in touch with him for the kids' sake. Now, she could be a big tease. She will dress provocatively, think Toni Braxton, if she thinks that's what is needed to rope a man in. But a lot of times she could be a prude. Or she could just be using her body as bait because she thinks that's what a man wants to see. She's a quintessential burlesque striptease dancer. You know, the kind, that don't get naked, but they have the tassels and all that stuff, and it's just all about tease and it's all about enticement, but they're really not showing no TNA. That's the epitome of dark-sided Libra. As a mother, you can have two types: the micromanager type of mother or the social climber. The micromanager type of mother is basically married to her children. So her children are in a relationship with her just like her husband is, or, whoever she's dealing with. Now, especially if she's a single mom, this will be the case. So she will run a pretty tight ship and manage every aspect of that child's life, including choosing his or her friends and mates. She could be a horrible mother-in-law because she will basically be the third wheel, especially if her son is a mama's boy. And she will do a lot for her brood, but she demands full access to that child's life in return. So if she doesn't like her child's spouse, there will be trouble, and a lot of times she may be the cause of divorce. Now, the social climber doesn't have any time for her kids. She's constantly going out. She's constantly adding activities to her schedule. She's on every committee. Yeah, she might be in the PTA, but it's just to keep up appearances. And her children are basically ornaments, so in that vein, she'll spoil them just to keep up with the Joneses. Because the dark-sided Libra female is always trying to keep up with the Joneses. So her children will have the latest iPhones and the best clothes, but it's not really coming from the heart. It's all about keeping up with appearances. Now, a perfect example of the dark-sided Libra mother is the mother in the movie Eve's Bayou, played by Lynn Whitfield. Now, she was a combination of both of the types of dark-sided Libra mothers. She was the prissy social climber in that all she cared about was keeping up with appearances. She couldn't deal with anything unpleasant. Her only concern was saving her marriage. She was passionless, which is why her husband, played by Samuel L. Jackson, was cheating all over her. So her frigid, uptight, prissy ass couldn't satisfy him. She was emotionally detached when it came to the kids, and they were just ornaments, with the mother-in-law, Grandmère, and the sister-in-law, Moselle, picking up the slack when it came to nurturing the kids. But then when Moselle, the sister-in-law, who's psychic, told her that she had a vision about a kid getting hurt, that's when the mother decided to shift over into the micromanaging mother role, and she kept those kids in the house until a kid actually died because she was so fearful of something happening to the kid. So if you haven't seen the movie Eve's Bayou, check it out. It's one of my favorite movies. I love the movie. But if you want to get an idea of how the dark-sided Libra mother operates, watch that movie because she's a combination of both. Now, the dark-sided Libra female, she could be very bad when it comes to money, usually as a result of trying to keep up with the Joneses, like I said. So she might want the latest of everything. Now, some famous dark-sided Libras are, the one that gets the grand prize is Kim Kardashian, of course. So let me explain. So Kim Kardashian is a follower. She's all about, her social life. She's a social light almost. Um, she's all about getting a man. So every time you see her in the news, before she was married to Kanye West, she was married to that other guy, Chris Humphrey. She got married at a very young age to some other guy. That's very dark-sided Libra trait. Getting married at a very young age to somebody you don't even love simply because you want to be in a relationship. She has multiple marriages at a young age at that. She's basically a harlot whore. and used that as a means of social climbing. So just think about that home video she made with Ray J, where her hoo-ha was exposed for the whole world to see, and she didn't care. No shame in her game, because it was all about social climbing, and that was a strategic move for her that I believe her mother orchestrated along with her. And again, her being a follower with her mother being a handler, she can't think for herself. Her mother does all her thinking. Her mother is her manager. Basically, she just does whatever her mother tells her to do. So she doesn't have a mind of her own. She lacks individuality. She allowed Kanye to dress her, making her look like a complete fool at times. Also, her being too flamboyant with the heavy makeup, just that the artificialness, that prissy nasal sounding voice of hers, and also how she married that oaf Chris Humphries, and that was a way to basically, she was trying to manage him in that respect. But now that she got with Kanye, Kanye's managing her, and I think she prefers it that way. Chris Humphries was too much work for her. Toni Braxton is another one. She's not totally dark-sided, but she definitely has dark-sided traits, especially with this recent coupling with Birdman. And basically, she got with Birdman because she wants to be in a relationship really bad, and also probably because of her need to be a social climber, because Birdman, he was in the news recently with the scandal, put some respect on my name or whatever like that. Gwen Stefani is another dark side. She's not totally dark side, but she got dark sided traits in that um, she's that extreme feminist type where she dresses her son up like a girl. Also, she wears that heavy makeup, that artificialness, the fierce eyebrows and all of that. And then Andrea Dworkin. Most people probably don't know who she is, but she was a staunch feminist, hardcore feminist, and she basically characterized all men as women hating, and she characterized heterosexual activity as kind of like degradation of women or whatever like that. So she was a staunch feminist, but even as a Libra, she succumbed to the desperation that they have to be in a traditional relationship despite being a lesbian. So basically, according to Wikipedia, although Dworkin publicly wrote, "I love John with all my heart," that was her living partner. Mind you, she's a lesbian. And Stoltenberg described Dworkin as the love of my life. She continued to publicly identify herself as lesbian and he as gay. So here was a gay and lesbian couple. He was probably a Libra too. And recounting their perplexity that their relationship seemed to cause, people in the press summarized the relationship by saying, "So I state only the simplest facts publicly. Yes, Andrea and I live together and love each other, and we are each other's life partner. And yes, we are both out." So even though she's a lesbian, she still had a need to have that traditional male-female relationship. And her being a dark-sided Libra, she compromised her own true self, her own true individuality in order to be in that relationship. See what I mean about that individuality and negating the self? And last but not least, we have Heather Hunter. She's a porn star, was a porn star, born on October 1st. One can be very sexual in terms of numerology. She was a social climber in that she tried to be a rapper. She was a dancer on Soul Train even, and she appeared in Tupac's video How Do You Want It. She also has ties to Luther Uncle Luke Campbell of Two Live Crew. So basically, she was a porn star, but then she wanted to be accepted in the mainstream. She wanted that social acceptance. But honey child, you can't have it both ways. You can't be, fucking and sucking in porn and think you're going to be accepted by the masses in the mainstream. So yeah. So that's my take on the dark-sided Libra female. I hope you found this enlightening and insightful. Please feel free to comment and contribute. And please stay tuned for my next video. And I haven't forgotten about the free reading that I will be posting. I will be posting that tomorrow. I got kind of behind in my work, been very busy lately, which is a good thing. So please stay tuned. Peace and blessings. I'm out.